Criminology series, The Coven, Part 3 by Dana Elizabeth. Okay, so Timothy Parks is the son of Andy Parks, who is leading this group. They mask under an organization they have based in the community. It's a spiritual club where they have their own belief system, rules, and regulations. They are very money motivated. They travel the world a lot, and they are always recruiting new members. Greg paused as he clicked the remote to change the image coming from the projector. As he continued, he directed our attention to the folders that he had us passing around the table with instructions for everyone to take the folder with their name. Once all the folders were distributed, Greg put the attention back on the projections. Okay, he said, and in front of you is a life policy that was filed last month. The insurance company suspected fraudulent behavior, and they began their own investigation. And that's when we stepped in and took over everything, because we didn't want the insurance company to alert Andy Parks or any of the members of his group that we were already investigating them for fraud and money laundering. So, Jet interjected, as she had been reading the policy in front of her. This policy is named under Satin Pierce. Right, Greg said. And that's why we need to move fast, especially since we heard the details of your vision today. It turns out that Satin's family had reported her missing in September, while the death date listed on the policy was in August. This huge questioning of the actual date of her death is what alerted the insurance company. Satin and Tim had just recently broken up. They shared a child, yet they were not married. So once Satin felt Tim was out of the house completely, she began to get back onto the dating scene. Her family had informed the FBI that she was a fan of online dating, but she had not been successful because the online dating was just a place where it seemed that people were just partying and having sex. Satin was not interested in that kind of life. She wanted to be married. Tim was dating again as well, but he was furious about Satin moving on with another man. The family told the FBI that they suspected Tim had something to do with the disappearance, but they just couldn't figure it out. Now, Greg continued, what we discovered is that the account of the man Satin went on the last date with was set up from an IP address across the street from Tim's house. This is Tim's neighbor. Now, we have placed him under surveillance, and there's a team on him now. And we've been watching him for the past month. He drives trucks. He's never home, and he's constantly in a new state. Now, turn the page in your folder, please, Greg told everyone. Here we have typed up the letter that Jet saw in her vision. I would like for all of you to review the letter just to get an understanding and a perception of what you feel is around this letter. The FBI had already believed that Satin was deceased, and now Jet Vision had somewhat confirmed everything they had already thought. Jet, we're going to send you undercover to move into a house that is now listed for rent 1 block from Tim's neighbor, which we have identified as Michael West. Now, here's the plan. He only comes home once or twice a month. While he's home, we want you to connect with him on the dating app. It's your job to secure a date with him. Once you're with him, then of course, that gives you the access to his energy, and we're confident that you are going to be able to get a hint for a location. At this time, we just want to locate her remains. We're very confident, again, that Satin is already deceased, he said, in a much lower tone. The room was silent, and everyone was intently reading the printed letter in deep concentration. Jet was very sensitive about her energy and who she allowed around her. There have been cases where she has declined to take on undercover missions, and this was feeling like one of those cases. Something in the pit of her stomach was telling her that something was off, or better yet, Her intuition was telling her that she would discover way more than Satin's death if she entangles herself with Mr. West. Jet quickly stood up and advised the team that she needed time to think and that she would respond and let them know if she would accept the mission in the morning. Jet exited the room and entered the elevator alone. Once she was in the space of her own car, she lit up her sage that she carried around with her to cleanse her energy. She also sprayed some Florida water around the car, and she even sprayed a mist of the water onto herself as well. Jet was very sensitive to energy, and she felt a strong feeling of evil and deception as soon as she saw Mr. West's picture. Jet's intuition had told her this was going to be a very sticky trap that her and the FBI would be stepping into. Although she had confidence that she would be protected, she just knew Mr. West was a dark person. Jet understood the difference between the light and the dark. In fact, she spoke both languages fluently. Now, she knows for sure the letter she saw was written by Satin, who was already deceased.